Godfather. Pulled up to the scene in a 65 Bentley, dripped in Brioni, China doll with me, looking like a supermodel. Oh, what a feeling. 25 years old, 25 million. Today's the audition for the Godfather part. My life's already a movie, so when do I start? I walk up in Patsy's, East 119th Street. Fat Tony Salerno gets a kiss on the cheek. I know my way around, not my first time here. Been doing overnight Ziganet loans for 10 years. I say hello to Danny Pagano and Tough Tony. Nicky Domino gives me a nod, they all know me. They ask why I'm there so early, I say the part. They say what part? I say the movie, why not? I don't look like Carlo, they all begin laughing. 3 p.m. ready for the lights, cameras, action. Gianni getting the zone.
My name is Gianni Russo, a.k.a. Carlo, the infamous son-in-law from The Godfather. I'm now known as the Hollywood Godfather, and this is my story.
Welcome, everybody. It's time for another episode of Hollywood Godfather, and it's the gruesome threesome here. And I shouldn't say that.
Speak for yourself.
Jeannie is pretty. Pat, I don't know about yet. And me. Anyway, Jeannie, welcome back. Pat, my compadre. And
Hi, everybody.
Very interesting show. Jeannie, you're coming up with these great topics. I love it. We're going to go and find out that Utah was once dangerous.
That's right.
Tell
We
us about
have a little bit of sass going here in town.
Well, tell us about
All right. So I live near Ogden, Utah, and Ogden, Utah has a very famous street. It's called Ogden 25th Street, which was a very, very rough street. You know, we used to joke about, any crazy stuff going on, or anywhere you didn't want to be walking around alone was 25th Street. And because it used to be a very dangerous street.
why.
They had back in 2000, in 1917 was when they did the prohibition. And so things got a little dicey. So they went underground. There's tunnels all along that 25th Street. And so nowadays, those places are flourishing. It's a crazy busy place right now. In fact, I went to a wedding there last weekend, and I walked down there, and as I was going down there, I was thinking, oh gosh, it's going to be a little scary. I'm going to be getting out by myself. You know, it's always been kind of notorious for keep your head on a swivel, and I got out of my car.
Even now?
Well, no, I don't get out much, Gianni. I don't know. Obviously it's a sign for me to get out on the town a little more often, but I went down there and you'd have thought there was a parade. That place is hopping. There were people everywhere. There was nothing to be afraid of because the place is very, very busy, very pleasant. They've got all those old historic buildings. They're full of all sorts of different shops. They've got bakeries. They've got salons.
Let me ask you a question, though. I'm very much aware of those tunnels where the prostitutes and they traveled underground. Nobody knew where they were going. But Are they still there? They didn't clean them up?
Well, there's still the tunnels down there. People have gone down there. My son told me tonight that he's been down in the tunnels. I don't know where they actually go to. There's some of them where you'll go and it goes right up to a cemented wall. But
they probably closed them in, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can see that there was obviously something going on down there.
During Prohibition, everybody flourished on that.
Exactly. Opium dens, prostitutions. There was a railroad right at the end of the street is the railroad station. So that's at the far end, the very west end of the street. And then all the way up that street, it goes from Wall Avenue. There's a few streets in between, and it goes up to what is Washington Boulevard. And there is the Ben Lomond Hotel, which was built way back when. And these buildings are still there. They're absolutely amazing. The bars in there have some of the most beautiful old stuff that was built back when the buildings were built.
And what town is that? Ogden, you said?
Ogden, Utah.
What was going on there during Prohibition?
Prohibition, they had the opium dens, they had a lot of drugs, they had a lot of speakeasies going on. places where people could sneak down and do the partying, prostitution, all of that
Well,
stuff.
I mean, let me say this: what we should clarify for the world, and the only reason I know about it is because of Costello. In the 20s, every city took advantage of prohibition. I don't care who you were, even the Jack Mormons, as we used to call them.
Exactly. Well,
Did you ever hear that saying, Pat? A Jack Mormon?
No,
A
first time.
Jack Mormon is a guy who he preaches that he's a Mormon. He's one of the elders of the church, but he's selling the booze and has the prostitutes.
Hey, somebody's got to do it.
There's always
Yeah,
sorry.
No.
There's always been a joke about that I've heard. I don't deer hunt, so I don't know, but they've said you can't take just one Mormon on deer hunting because if you do, that one Mormon will drink all the beer. So you have to take a couple of them because they're going to behave themselves in front of each other.
The great story I heard of Brigham Young. Brigham Young was one of the elders of the church.
Yeah, I know who Brigham Young.
But that wasn't his name. People didn't realize that. What he was yelling from the covered wagons, bring them young. Bring them young.
There you go. Yeah.
I've heard bring them young and bring them often. Sorry. Sorry.
Well, yeah,
my
probably
Mormon
too.
friends.
No, but you know what's so funny? I was in the junket business, in many businesses in Vegas in the 70s and the 80s. And I got to be the Panos family, a Greek Mormon family. Major elders in the church of the Latter-day Saints. And we were bringing junkets in. Nick Nitti, who was a relative of Frank Nitti, obviously, and Pat wrote about us with what we were doing with the laundering of the money. And then Mike Porter was also in the junket business. So on Sundays to Thursdays, planes were coming in from New York and Chicago and towns all over. And then Thursdays you'd leave again and bring another whole group. Why I'm bringing it up? Bloomington Country Club and Ranches is which on the border of Utah and Nevada, created a big housing development. You're going to love it. Do you know Bloomington? Did you ever hear of Bloomington? It's a border town in Utah.
Yes.
You heard of it? Okay.
Yeah.
They created, Pat, you would love this story. I made millions of dollars with it. We had I had jewelry stores, Russo and Castaldi Jewelers, in the 70s in Vegas. And in Maryland Parkway, our jewelry store, Russo and Castaldi, next door was a rental agency and showroom for Bloomington Country Club and Ranches. So I went in and talked to these Mormon kids. I said, what are you doing? Oh, we're subdivided all this property and we're selling the land lots. I said, really? I said, how's it work? He said, well, you buy the lot and you have 5 years to develop it. I said, okay. I said, I have an idea for you. I bring people on a plane every Sunday, Wednesday. How many people? I said, sometimes 700, 800 people each trip because different planes come from different areas. I said, I'll do a promotional movie on the plane. And they were taking people from Vegas to Bloomington, it's right across the border. And what we would do if we sold a lot, we'd get, because we had $1,500 in their money put into the cage. They had to be a gambler. We got $50 from the casino, $50 from the airlines. So we were making money everywhere to us. And then we would lucky the money if you went broke. You need $2,000. we had to go. But this, why it's so funny? Because no one's ever brought this up until now. Nobody knew what we were doing. We were taking junkets by station wagon from Nevada to Bloomington Country Club and Ranches. We did this for about a year and a half. We get a call from the Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, and they said, Mr. Russo. I says, yeah. He says, we have to stop our relationship. I said, why? And he took me to their office. Pat, you'll love this. Mm-hmm. The flags on all the property lots, the flags with the names who owned them, all ended in vowels.
How many Italians in Utah?
No. They were not from there. They were from Brooklyn and New York and Chicago buying the lots because we told them, listen, we'll use your money. Don't worry about it. you buy a lot here, you can retire here. And they did, because it meant nothing to them. We got the 1,500. We still got charged back for it. I got $100 here, $100 here, plus the 1,500. How could we go wrong? We were directing so many people. They asked us, they said, you have to give their money back. So we ain't giving their money back. So what are you talking about? I said, hold it. You didn't say we couldn't sell the land. He says, how are you going to do it? I said, you got to give us a letter defaulting the Latter-day Saints, and we'll present it to them. We sent them all letters saying, because of your background, and they found out about you, and it was all vague language, but some of them were criminals. They didn't want it for the 1,500 walk around, talk to them about it, want the money. We kept all the money.
How did it wind up?
Nobody ever knew. They closed the thing down. They only sold it in Utah. They never stopped selling. They closed the office in Nevada. Well, we sold. I mean, I had to sell. I bet you I sold 2,000, 3,000 lots there over 2 years. Now put the numbers to that.
Did the people who bought them develop the lots? Did they build homes? What did they do?
No, I'm telling you, they weren't allowed to. We sent them a letter, being that they weren't residents, they didn't have the right, and due to your background, we will investigate you. That's what I heard that they ran away. It was a great scam, and it was really not a scam. I did it legitimately, but then nobody got paid, and nobody built the homes there.
A scam?
Gianni, I think God blessed you with a super fast brain. You know, he stricken you with the polio for a while, but your brain is so fast, and so you make things happen that people would.
In the 5 years I was laying in that bed, I fermented my brain for deals.
I mean,
it was worth it. Look at you now.
Oh yeah,
you were 12 years old, and they unleashed you on the world.
That was it.
Man.
With the guidance of Mr. Costello, though, that guy was a genius.
Yeah, without him.
Is that where you learned? I mean, because all of the things that you come up with, all the different businesses you have, and the smarts to make a good opportunity out of pretty much anything that you come across. I remember you talking about getting the cake for the movie or renting a yacht, and you helped with that deal. You said somebody needed a yacht, you gave them a price, but you put your little cushion in there as well. And I think
that was striptease. That was a Budweiser yacht for the movie Striptease.
Yeah,
I make good deals. No, I just made a deal that I could talk about. I just made. I don't know how many knew about Campbell Soup a month ago. Campbell Soup that we all grow. Campbell Soup just bought a company for $2.7 billion. And one component of the company was Rao's sauce.
Yeah.
Right? Well, being that they made that deal, I own the most iconic brand in sauce in the world. Corleone, Fine Italian, go online, it's there. So with them doing that, I met with those same people. They paid that kind of money for people who had only 2 restaurants, and now they have 4. I own a recognized brand next to Mickey Mouse throughout the world called Corleone. And now what I'm doing, and I'm in the process of doing it right now, my company became eco-friendly. We don't use glass anymore. We only use recycled paper, and everything is grown in southern Sicily. The pacifist from Corleone, the Genco olive oils from Genco Farms. I just made a deal. I don't want to mention the store. 4,900 stores starting the second quarter of 2024. My partners are doing what you're doing, Gene, shaking their head. How did you do this one? If they bought that company for $2 billion, my company's worth. I'm recognized everywhere. Not me. Corleone.
When you and I were speaking about this last week, you said you're innovating something that hasn't been done before, which is not using jars anymore for pasta sauce.
Right.
What do they come in now? I was just thinking that myself.
I'm doing it all recycled materials. It's coming in the plastic, and it's got a 2-year shelf life. It's vacuum packed, 2 years shelf life, where I had a 1-year shelf life. Now I have a 2-year shelf life. Plus, what am I saving in shipping?
Oh,
The glass that I weigh, I mean, I'm saving $4 a case just in shipping.
right.
No breakage. No more breakage.
I'm glad I didn't open that second bottle. I told the kids, I'm like, no, don't open that one. I don't cook very often. So I did get those when they came out. I did order some, and so I opened one. I don't recall which one that we used, but that other one's just sitting there. It's kind of one of those things that you just want to have but not use. So
I'll send you them. But when my new products now, I'll be on TV on QVS. No, is it QVS?
Yeah,
QVC. QVC. I'll be on QVC the second quarter of 24. I'll be on every 90 days if I'm successful, with 6 new products every 90 days.
So you're going to have 6 new products every 90 days?
I have 17 SKUs in the works right now. I'm going to sell my company for $2 billion.
Well, that's fantastic. It's funny that you said that you're going to away from glass and that, because I was listening to a commercial talking about laundry detergent and those big laundry
pods.
Containers. Yeah. And so now everyone's they're talking about, all the waste and all the plastic and blah, blah, blah. And now they're going to not shampoo, but laundry soap in sheets and getting rid of those big containers, those big jugs. So
well, those big, even those pods, kids are choking on them.
Oh yeah.
No, see, I read a lot. I get up, I read. That's my whole life. I learned from reading, and I taught myself how to read. But the thing is that there is so many ideas out there, but nobody wanted to take the shot. So I called my people in Sicily. They didn't want to buy the equipment. One piece of equipment was $127,000. I said, I'll buy it and amortize it over the year. I'm going to give you the order for it, and I'm going to give you the machine. But nobody's done it. It's go to a market tomorrow morning and tell me how many sauces are in glass. The whole shelf.
Right. That's exactly right. Wow.
It's just why I brought that up, because what you're saying, I'm not smart. I'm just taking advantage of what the environment wants or what the people want.
You're smart. It's both.
No, but anyway.
You're quick to do the smart stuff, and it works out well. So back to 25th Street, that back in the day, it was very, very scary, and it was quite boarded up and stuff like that. And like I said, there were, parents didn't want their kids hanging out downtown on 25th Street because there were too many gangs and shootings. And so there was several different things, but there is on one of the buildings down there, which I'm going to get down there over the weekend and get a picture of it so I can put it on our website. That
you go down there that often? How close is it to you?
It's close to me. I work down there on once a week, and then I work in
Ogden, Utah?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Yeah.
She commutes?
It's not that's not far from me. I'm very close.
Wait a minute. How close is it? Where do you live?
Roy, Utah.
Oh, I thought you lived in Pennsylvania.
No, that's me.
I know that. I know that, but I thought she did.
No, when I called you the other day, you said, "You're calling me from Ogden, Utah." And I was like, yeah, it's 10 minutes from home. Yeah, I grew up knowing of
I thought all this time you lived in Pennsylvania.
No. Well, I'm in Utah. And
that's good to know.
Yeah.
You know who one of my partners was? You'll never believe who I'm going to tell you. I created in Ogden, in Salt Lake, Utah, I created Good Earth, chewable vitamins. I did it in 1970. I was on the Merv Griffin show, and every time he saw me, I was chewing on something. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm supplementing my body." He said, what are you talking about? I said, you're supposed to supplement your body every 4 hours. He said, what are you doing? I said, I made my vitamins. I like nuts. So I made my C's into walnuts. I made this. And I did that. Guess who my partner was? Senator Orrin Hatch.
I've always wondered. I know you've talked about him, and I always wondered how you knew him.
I know
That's
him
amazing.
well. I know him well. I did a lot of business down there. I actually sang in a Playboy club in Salt Lake City. There was one there. Do you believe it? I did a tour from Rochester. I did 14 Playboy clubs in the like 74, 75. And
Wow.
I went to Salt Lake. I said, why did people all Mormons? They were drunk out of their minds.
That's crazy. Yeah. Well, so I grew up around 25th Street, and there was some malls and stuff down there, but it wasn't a place you didn't walk alone down there. But now it's completely different. It's absolutely beautiful. But, there's a bakery up top, but I know a lot of them still have those places. Some people keep, use that downstairs as a storage.
Storage and all that,
Yeah.
Well,
And like I said, as in the way back during Prohibition, there was opium dens and speakeasies and things like that. It was that's where all the stuff was happening back in the day.
well,
What about
okay, I'm sorry, Pat.
what about the Al Capone quote?
Oh,
That's right. Al Capone told it was the deadliest street in the world.
right. That's exactly right. That's what was said. And there supposedly is a plaque on the side on a building. My son told me, so I'm going to get down there this weekend. I'll post it on our Facebook and on our Instagram. Yeah.
That's wild because, everything about Costello, nobody realized. And when Frank and I, listen to me, Costello, call him Pat Frank. Pat, I'll give you it's a working title only. The Son He Never Had is our third book of Costello and my relationship. And it's crazy when you start reading about this guy and the parallels and, the whole thing with, like we talked about Roosevelt and these people. But his father died on my birthday of bronchitis, December 12th. He got in touch with Peter Mass to write his life story, December 12th. And then he died in February. Never told him the story.
Johnny, the mob, Prohibition, no matter where you dropped an anchor, no matter where you wanted to set up business, you made money. People wanted to drink.
That's it.
But from what I understand, it really had no urge to go west, past Chicago. I'm not talking about the West Coast, LA, all that, but towns or even bigger cities, Salt Lake and places like that, and other than Vegas, they really never set up shop there. I was asking Jeannie about this before the show started. No one was really running Ogden, Utah. It was a free-for-all.
It was wide open.
Yeah.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah.
Exactly what they said. Very, very dangerous down there.
Because it was wide open. These trucks were coming in. They're getting $100 a case then. $100
Well,
a
and
case.
that's right where the railroad, the great big Union Station is right there on the corner.
Yep.
So the mob had no interest in taking advantage of this.
The one article, it's in Utah Stories, the voice of local Utah. It said, with the repeal of Prohibition, 25th Street saw yet another business opportunity, that of organized crime. As railroad passenger traffic was declining, organized crime provided a boost to the economy with licensed money from gambling syndicates and typical mob scene active in places such as New York and Chicago. So they were looking at some ways to make some money around there. They were trying to get some things going, but I don't know of any type of gambling that's ever happened here in Utah.
Well, the other thing about it, because knowing we were doing this show, what I call different people, because what people don't realize in Vegas was controlled by every major family in the United States. Every state had because just off the top of my head, St. Louis had the Aladdin Hotel, Chicago had the Stardust, New York had the Sands, and New York and Florida had Caesar's Palace. The Dunes was, every place in Vegas, that's why it was organized. So that everybody was making money. There was nobody settled any arguments in Nevada. So when these people were coming across, and one of my closest friends, you're not going to believe, was Perry Thomas, the head of the Valley Bank from Salt Lake. His family was so rich, it was ridiculous. He lent Steve Wynn the money to buy the Golden Nugget. Perry Thomas did. I met Perry Thomas this is crazy. When I was going to Vegas the first time, I was really young. I went there in 1959. And when I got off the plane, they said, go to the Las Vegas Country Club. So I don't want to play golf. They said, just go there. I go there. I go to the country club, and they were waiting for me. They take me downstairs to a card room and a locker room. The men's playing. They were all playing cards. Perry Thomas is sitting with them. Mo Dalitz, every major mob guy, they had it all lined up. Chicago was there. Nick D'Onofrio from Detroit, they were all there. Perry Thomas gave me, in 1959, I was a bum. He gave me a passbook to his bank. I had $100,000 credit line. I said, I don't need any money. He's, well, it's just a welcoming thing. Friends of yours has money in my bank. That was the Valley Bank. It started in Salt Lake.
Was he a Mormon?
Oh, yeah, almost. Oh, my God. Perry Thomas was like God in Salt Lake. The Thomas family was huge.
Have you heard of them, Jeannie?
Yeah, I have, but I don't know where. But as soon as you said the name, it was something I recognized.
Oh, no, they were founders of that, And they lent a lot of money before the Teamsters came in. They gave the seed money, the small money for the land and the stuff that, see, they were very smart. They would come in and lend you the money for the land. You'd lock up the land, and then you go to the other places to get the money, and then you'd pay them off. So they weren't in gaming. They had that gray veil of saying, well, we're not in that,
Well, that's why, and it's not a big shock that I don't know a lot. I've gone to Vegas all my life because it's so close. I think it's about 5-hour drive from here, and I've always loved Vegas, but I've always had the love going back and forth. But it just surprised me the other day when someone told me that how involved the Mormons are with Las Vegas. And then you said, yeah, they owned a lot of the properties.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I don't know why I was so shocked, but.
Yeah, I made a couple of loans just directly for property and from them. In fact, I was just told today by my lawyers, they're using my property on Harmon Avenue, Colville Lane, now for the F1 races. They're putting bleachers on it. So my lawyer said they want to put bleachers on our property. Go ahead. How much they're going to pay me and do it.
Gianni, one of my favorite concerts I've ever been to, when I remembered you saying that you own property there, and it's just a big parking lot. Is that right?
It's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, is that where, so one year I went to Route Harvest. Oh, I don't even know. Route Harvest 99 or something. I don't know what it was called. The year after, where they had the shooting, the guy in the hotel that shot at all the people at the concert.
Oh, no. That was at Mandalay Bay.
Okay.
That guy
that's
was
not your parking lot where they
no.
had.
No,
I wondered.
No, that Mandalay Bay is on the Strip.
Okay.
What I did when I bought this land in the 60s.
Wow.
1,500 an acre. It was stupid because I had so much cash. I said, what am I going to do with this? They said, buy land. And there's a law in Nevada at that time. They enticed people to buy land. And if you didn't develop anything on it, you didn't pay taxes until you did. So it was a great place to just bury money. Like I own a piece of property on Harmon and Colville Lane, and another one, a corner, Harmon and Flamingo Road, which is between Bally's and the Hard Rock. And my kids, and they know better than me, they go on screen, they show the property. They go online. You can look up that address, it's there. But it's all vacant land. There's 23 acres of casino land. It's been there
Do people
65.
beg you to buy it from you?
I don't want to sell it. I'll
Well, I
give you-
know, but that don't mean people don't ask.
Well, the good news is this. I broke ground for a casino there in 1980. It's in our book. Almost took the drawing down on it. And I did the Las Vegas paving. I paid for that myself, $600,000 to dig it. Then I was supposed to take the first loan down on it. And fortunately, I didn't, and I would have been doing 20 years right now. But anyway, that land is like insane right now because of the fact. But what I have a gaming license, so my property is even more valuable because I have a gaming license that I just surrendered. I didn't give it up until I have another. So it's tied to my property because State Street had a gaming license. So if somebody wants to give me a 99-year lease and build on it, I hope you default because then I have those improvements too. So it's just sitting there. It's crazy.
We're just hitting 30, so you want to go to a commercial, Johnny?
Well, please.
Okay.
We'll be right back. We know where you live. Remember that.
We are pleased to announce the publication of a new book series from Gianni Russo and Patrick Piccarelli entitled The Sixth Family. When the alleged daughter of Marilyn Monroe asks for help, Gianni Russo becomes entangled in a web of lies and violence in the search for the late actress's diary. Soon, he is enmeshed in a mystery that involves a presidential candidate, a disgruntled mafia capo, a retired NYPD detective, and the past of mafia boss Frank Costello. Russo must race against the clock to stop a hostile reorganization of the American mafia, while trying to stay one step ahead of a faceless killer. While listening to this book, skillfully read by Gianni himself, the listener will have to determine what is true and what is fiction. Or as Gianni says before this epic story begins, this book is a work of fiction, except for the parts that are true. Look out for the second installment of this exciting new series coming in 2023, The Sixth Family. Book 1 is available now on Amazon.com.
All right, we're back from a commercial. Let's not go any further here. We are back, and why we're laughing, you'll never know.
No, yes.
Moving on.
Ain't on the air next week.
So let me tell you what this quote, it said. Al Capone came to Utah. During Prohibition, the famous Al Capone did step off a train and took a stroll down 25th Street looking for business opportunities. He is quoted as saying, "This town is too rough for me." And that was quoted by the Salt Lake Magazine, November 10th, 2017. He probably boarded the next train and left town.
Yeah, he probably had a point. You'd have to probably kill half the town to take it over.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And by the way, I want to just back up and say, I'm sure there was illegal gambling here in Utah. I don't know that they've ever had any legal gambling here in Utah. I'm sure, that's the notorious for all the speakeasies and stuff back in the day, but I didn't want to misrepresent because I'm sure there was a lot of stuff that was.
Well, my understanding too, that the railroad had a lot to do with the money that they were staying there while they were building these railroads.
Right. And that's where, the prostitution and stuff like that, they had to keep those guys.
Because they got paid once a month. Around. That's crazy.
Yeah.
They had all that money. They were like sailors on leave.
Well, and it's beautiful down there now. Like I said, I went down there on a Saturday night for a wedding, and it was hopping. There were people going around. They have festivals. I have a son who sings, and he's gone down there to the festivals. They've got a little amphitheater. So it's a lot different than it was back in the day where you didn't dare walk down those streets. That's for sure.
Well, I just read a survey of the top 10 states to move. I think Utah's like second or third now.
Oh, it probably is, because I'll tell you what, you drive down a street here and they're sticking 6-story apartment buildings on every inch of everything right now. In fact, they're putting apartments where like the balconies look like they're over the sidewalks next to very, very busy streets, which I don't know why anyone would want to live there, but they are everywhere. People are coming here like crazy.
You could walk to work. That's why.
Okay, so where people are, crime is sure to follow. I don't want to
Hello.
upset you.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
I know.
How are your police departments and everything? Are they fortified? Or?
I haven't known any major upsets or corruption here, but I keep my nose clean. So,
What about you watch the news? They must tell you on the news if somebody's kidnapped or killed or beat up.
there's not a lot of kidnapping. There is, in Salt Lake, we've got a lot of homeless people and stuff like that. But, I don't watch a lot of the news, Gianni, because it's a lot of bad news. So I don't hear much of that stuff because I'm pretty good at being an ostrich at stuff like that. If I was watching the news, I wouldn't have time to listen to your podcast.
There you go. Perfect reason.
That's right.
So where you are, there's very little crime.
Oh no, I'm sure it's not crazy. I mean, you're hearing of all the places that they're doing those, where places are doing those flash robberies and stuff like that. We don't have things like that here. Knock on wood, I haven't heard of anything like that. Ogden's a very nice town. It's, not crazy and it's not scary down there like it used to be.
Basically, they're law-abiding citizens. They're very, is still the religion, the whole thing?
Oh, yeah. Yep. The religion
That's why you won't have that. No.
Yeah, it doesn't, I've always said that, little kids that grow up in church, it doesn't matter what kind of church you go to, but I do think it sets them up with a good basis.
Gives them a foundation, yeah.
Exactly. On, doing right by others and, don't be liars, don't be cheaters, don't be thieves. And, and like you said, Jack Mormon, as far as that goes, there are, just like any other sort of person, I know some of the most wonderful people I've ever known are Mormons, and then I know some Mormons that are jerks.
Did you ever hear of the Panos family? They're Greeks.
Yes, I have. My son went to school with Panos. I don't know.
They're very, very nice people.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Brad Panos was a partner of mine in a couple of businesses.
Yeah, the ones I know, and my son played football with. They're great family.
And they're elders in the church.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's funny how many ties you have to here, Gianni.
Oh my God!
Company is. Do you still have that? Good Earth Chewables?
I'm sorry?
Do you still have your vitamin company?
No, I sold it. I should have never. You know what my vitamin company is now called? It's all over the world. Nature's Way. Hello.
Yes, become.
Of course, that's amazing.
Oh, it's one of the biggest vitamin companies in the world.
Yeah, Senator Orrin Hatch did the deal. That was before he was a senator.
Gianni, I was thinking of that saying. They said 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, whatever that silly thing is. And I thought, you've got your hand in everything. I don't know. Is there any?
It seems like I do, but I don't know. I just I had extra. I had discretionary money that I could. That's why I got in the film business. I can go in the film business, so I lose a couple $100,000, but most people can't afford to do that. So took the shot, and it paid off.
Incredible, yeah.
Well, folks, we've uncovered dastardly crimes in Ogden, Utah, and we've also solved the crime problem by the end of the show. We did. Jeannie did.
Well, I didn't solve anything, but it is nice to see because it is such a historic part of Utah, and of course, Ogden that's the main street. If anyone moves here and they're trying to find their way around, I'm like, well, you know where 25th Street is? Okay, you go here from there. And
it's like the base.
Yeah,
and it's like Broadway in New York.
Exactly. The thing that is amazing are those old buildings that are. There's some bars that were the original bars in those buildings, and they're absolutely beautiful.
How old are those buildings? 100, 200 years old?
Well, they've got to be. It said 1917. I was looking at a book. In fact, I sent a picture of the book to Pat the other day, and I was looking at the places before coming. For a time, they were all boarded up, but now pretty much everything down there is being utilized. Like there was old hotels. And especially those bars, because if you go in an old bar, I'm sure every town has one where they've just are that old gorgeous wood and the workmanship.
Oh,
in
yeah.
there
You
is,
can't even make it.
absolutely.
Today, you couldn't even have it. You couldn't afford
Right.
to make it.
Well, yeah, and look at the stuff they make now. Places aren't made the way they used to back then.
No. It's all, now it's all Formica. Forget about it.
Right.
Gianni, have you ever been to McSorley's Ale House?
Who?
McSorley's Ale House.
Where's that?
It's in East Village. It's the oldest bar in the United States.
Wow.
1840 something. It was, I believe, it was the early 70s when they first started to allow women in the place. It was you had to
heard about it. Yeah, I heard
had
about
to be
it.
male to go in there. Anyway, we used to go in there sometimes.
Probably why I never went.
Well, now it's a hangout. Anybody can go, but when you go in there to order a beer, it's the same furnishings, the same everything that was there in 1840. When I think it's the same bartender too. To tell you the truth, this guy is.
What's it called, Pat?
McSorley's. It's you can look it up online. But when you go in there to order a beer, you get 3 beers.
Why?
Don't ask me why. It's just the thing there. You order a beer. You can't specify as to what kind you want. Whatever they got, you got. It's on tap, and they give you 3 steins at a time.
Well, it gets warmed up by the time they get to the 3rd stein. Who'd want it?
Yeah, but you're paying for it. That's all they care about.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Pace
I don't know about all
University.
that, but anyway.
Pace University is right down the block, and now that they allow women in there, it's a college hangout. But I mean, Edgar Allan Poe used to hang out in the place. I mean,
Well, I don't go. I don't like poetry.
Okay, well, he didn't do much of that. He wrote horror, and he's credited with writing the first detective story. You can imagine how long ago that was.
Wow.
But anyway, hey, we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, it's been interesting. Thank
Yeah,
you,
okay.
Jeannie, for 2 shows.
Hey, like I told you, I'm making up for lost time. All those days in the shower when I couldn't get my questions out to you. Now
I'm
I
back to
never
the shower again.
back in.
Okay.
I'm glad you put a
Oh, yeah,
towel
sorry.
on. I'm glad you put a clothes on instead
Yeah,
of.
That's right. I got
not
dressed
glad,
and
actually.
sat down to get to these questions that have been, this inquiry mind has been thinking about all these years.
Well, thank you.
I have a chance to air all this.
There you
That's
go.
right. It's my therapy. All
There you
that
go.
talk I've been needing to get to.
Beats
I'll come
paying
up with some other
$200. It beats
But-
paying $100 an hour.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, Gianni, I guess we call it a night.
Yes, please. Thank you all. And keep the cards and letters coming in and come up with some ideas. I mean, look what Jeannie's doing. She's creating the show. She's becoming a producer too. I love it.
Yeah.
Jeannie,
Okay.
have a great weekend. Pat,
You too.
love you. Talk to you
Yeah.
soon. Please.
I'll be in touch, Jeannie. Have a good night.
All right, please.
Thank you. You too. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye bye.
And that was that. But I'll be back.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hollywood Godfather podcast. Want to ask us a question for the mailbag? We love hearing from our fans, so submit your questions online at hollywoodgodfatherpodcast.com, or you can give us a call at 646-776-3038 and leave a message. Contact us anytime with your questions about past or future shows, your favorite celebrity, or anything you'd like to know, and who knows, your question may even make it on the air. Remember to follow us on Instagram and on Facebook at Hollywood Godfather and at Real Johnny Russo. If you like what you hear, please leave us a review with your podcast provider or your video streaming service. We'll be back next week with another exciting show, and who knows who we may have on the show. If you don't want to miss out on an episode, remember to subscribe. Until next time.
My life's like scenes out of a movie. I'm the Hollywood Godfather, truly. I got stories with them all. You know, celebrities, world leaders, icons. Who knows what's next for me? I'll never get too old to have a little fun. Come on, I'm Gianni Russo, a genuine one of a kind. What a ride it's been, this life of mine. And I ain't done yet. I'll be back. Until next time.
And that was that.
When I was 17, it was a very good year. It was a very good year for small town girls and soft summer nights. We'd hide from the lights on the village green